Hi, this is Al Nolan from An Almighty Trigger Happy, and you're watching Bucketlist.
Describe your band. Like, what kind of sound do you guys have?
The band originally started in Toronto, and it was a mixture of. We were all teenagers in the '80s, like I was mentioning earlier, and we were all influenced by various '77 English punk rock, and then the Canadian response to that, like Teenage and the Diodes and local bands, and the American scene, Minor Threat and Black Flag and stuff. But as every city has its own sound, there were some local bands that ended up breaking up and we formed our band. Okay. So it was kind of a bunch of people that had influenced each other ending up in the same band with each other. It was kind of neat.
So a super group of teenagers.
Kind of, yeah. And everyone contributed in some kind of way historically to something in the city. So and then the timing just happened to work out that bands in the States started getting popular again through snowboarding and skateboarding. I worked in the industry, like I was telling you. I worked for a skateboard distributor. I was in my hometown, and before we had the internet, kids, mail, self-addressed stamped envelope at the end of the thing would have been your .com at the time. So the only way you could get your shit around was to mail it around to people. So for at the warehouse with the skateboard orders that I would pack and send out to stores, I would put our cassettes, our flyers in them, and send them out to stores so people knew who they were, and they could order them from us. So we kind of jumped ahead a little that way, and then out of nowhere, the whole Southern California thing went crazy, and we just left the city. And ended up touring, playing everywhere else, and much more popular outside of Toronto than we actually were, but then it kind of came around again. So I guess you'd have to say we were pretty much classic Toronto hardcore kind of sound. A bit of melody here, lots of power, big loud volumes, and the songs were written by a very dear gentleman named Mark Gibson, who passed away 4 years ago, unfortunately. And I miss him every day, and I wish he was still in the band, but
So you grew up in the age of like tape sharing. What do you think about the whole internet thing where bands now, to make any headway, you kind of have to give your shit away for free, like through Bandcamp? Do you approve, disapprove?
Well, I've never really made any money off any kind of recordings anyway, so I wouldn't know what to miss it. So even if I got I got a couple of free beers today, I'm pretty happy. I get to do this, so it's fine with me. So if the world was made of rock stars like me, it'd be like 80% okay.
So you are a rock star?
Oh, I'm the singer. I'm of dressing room culture. There's a bunch of punk rockers that won't admit it out there that they're from. They love Van Halen, they love Fugazi, and if they had to have both, they could accept it. So I love dressing rooms, I love sound checks, I love the separation. But then again, I'll fight for whatever kid's getting crushed against the stage for sure, no problem. I'll fight a bouncer in 10 seconds flat. Nice. I love this shit.
You're a man of the people then.
Yes. David Lee from Mackay.
There you go. So do you have any albums coming out, or you just released one?
We had 4 records out on a label called Bad Taste Records from Sweden. We had a record called I'll Shut Up and You Fuck Off. And another one called I Hate Us. And some other ones scattered around there as well. The album I'll Shut Up and You Fuck Off is being reissued on vinyl after 20 years this fall. And we have some demos. It's a new version of the band. I'm the only original member, unfortunately. But so it's the younger guys, about 5-6 years younger than me. So even there's a difference in sound and influence in what you write between those kind of years and stuff. So it'll still be pretty traditional. So we're going to demo some stuff and try to do it the old-fashioned way, find a label, get someone else to pay for it.
Not bad. Do you find it easier to find a label? You mentioned you have your stuff out through a label in Sweden, right?
That was in the 90s.
Do you find it easier to get overseas help opposed to like the Canadian market or the American market?
We played one show with this Swedish band, and then the next day I got a fax from
Fax.
I got a fax from the Swedes saying we want to sign you guys. So we played with them in Montreal, and then when I got home, there was a fax from the Swedes, and then they signed Danko Jones and
Oh my God! Really? How old is that guy? He nothing on the internet states his age.
He moisturizes, I'm sure. So.
Why do you think it's easier to have distribution and labels help out from Europe opposed to the?
Well, because their musical ear and tastes are far superior, widespread, and really just better supported over there. The festival culture in Europe has been huge. Like this kind of stuff has been happening for 30 to 40 years in Europe already. This kind of music, but also at the same time, Mariah Carey can play a festival that Slayer's playing as well over there. It's not that much of a fight in the gateway going in, or anyone having to worry about any problems there. Okay. So it's more accepted culture, and the music just seems to be just really a lot more way of life over there. There's not much religious refusal of music, if you know what I mean. Mm-hmm. Nothing's getting banned every 20 seconds or told that it's wrong.
Yeah, they're more open and accepting.
Yes, it's a great place to go, and as a young band, if you're very lucky to go there, you should suck that up as much as possible because it's fleeting. And if you're lucky enough to go to the festival level, that'd be great. We did van tours for years around here, and then out of nowhere, after a couple of European tours, we got our third one. We had a bus. All that's for us. It was cool. It was really weird.
Is it easier to sleep in a van or in a bus?
This is the funny thing. When you're younger in a van, you don't do as many drugs as you do when you get to a bus.
And why is that?
Because you have a bus and you start thinking as big as the bus. You start feeling stupid, so you get more expensive, more silly. So you lie in this big giant bunk all for yourself, not being able to sleep for days because you're popular. Don't do that.
So is this your first year playing Pouzza Fest? Have you done it before?
Yeah, we did it two years ago. But this band has played Montreal for the past 25 years all the time. We've always been on shows, festivals. Snowboard culture here is huge as well, so we would do stuff up in the mountains.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's great labels in this town. There's been great bands for years. It's probably one of the better, if not best, punk rock scenes all across the country for the past 30 years. Some of the most important Canadian punk rock bands come from this.
And where does this festival rate on, say, your all-time list of any fests that you've played?
It hasn't cost me any money yet.
That's always good. You guys make your bones?
Today, that would be number one.
Very good. Yeah. If you had one thing on your musical bucket list to accomplish, what would it be?
It's a tough one. It kind of happened last night. So I didn't think anybody was going to come to our show last night. We were packed rooms. And they knew the songs better than I did. So I just had to stand there. And in punk rock, that's all you ever want is other people to know your lyrics. Well, as a singer anyways. And then you can just rest and have a sip while you're putting your mic in people's faces and stuff. I guess it would, every thorn, every asshole that tries to stick out just wants to fit in. So I guess it's just like people like your music.
Now, if only that could work with the guitar player or the bassist, say they just hand the instrument
Well, not necessarily. Also, if you had the wisdom and the experience now, at 47 instead of at 22, telling people to fuck off and being a dick, you should just listen. So, on that note,
excellent. Thank you very much.